Children's Arena in Oshawa, Ontario first opens its doors in February 18th, 1956. So 69 years and 4 days later, we welcome you in here on your Saturday evening for Arena Lacrosse League action in the East Division. It's the number 1 9-1 Whitby Steelhawks taking on the 6-4 Paris RiverWolves. These two teams saw each other back on Sunday, December 15th, and it was the Steelhawks pulling away with a 20-12 victory. We'll quickly go to the starting goaltenders for the visiting RiverWolves. It will be the Woodsley, Ontario native Chase Cosgrove getting the call. A 6-2-0 goal record with a 12.75 goals against average and a 759 save percentage, already 465 minutes between the pipes. Opposing him at the other end of the floor will be the Whitby native in Lucas Coote, 6-0-0, a 1088 goals against average and an 804 save percentage. He's already amassed 268 saves in the season. The RiverWolves and the Steelhawks go to battle, and it's all right now. It's Koichi Nakamura winning the opening faceoff, and it's Goodchild hunting down the loose change for the Steelhawks in that far corner. There are 13 scratches today for the RiverWolves, including their leading goal scorer in Cayman Diabo. The Quebec native has 26 goals and 49 points. That's 6.1 points per game. Not available for the RiverWolves here today. Again, one of 13 scratches for them. As I was talking with Coach Dubrick before the game, saying, hey, other guys are going to have to step it up, including number 27 and Noah Simonelli. So already we got our first penalty of the game, 17 seconds into the contest, and it will be the Steelhawks with their power play operating at 83% going to work here in the opening minute. Pfeiffer to a teammate on the near side, back to Pfeiffer. As Pfeiffer lost it in his shoes, he got it back, being pressured by Minichello. Aston thinking about shooting it, gives it to Pfeiffer instead. Low shot off the bar, I believe, after Cosgrove got a piece of it. Now Pfeiffer into the near corner. They cross over the floor to Aston. He couldn't shoot the ball right away, though, and backtracks it to Goodchild. Long shot, and I apologize, that's Owen Orpana. Orpana is denied by Cosgrove, and Cosgrove looks to launch this one down the floor to Brown. Brown from his goalie. Brown short-handed, denied by Lucas Coote. 1:15 remains here on the power play. We're just a $1.05 into the game. Sinfield has the biscuit in tow right now. He's coming off of a 5-goal performance last week when the Steelhawks roughshod over the Oswego Bears 24-12. The power play with 1 minute gone by it. Pfeiffer into that far corner. Aston back to Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer looking around at his options. Looks to cock it back. Instead gives it to Aston. Cosgrove denies it. A fresh 20 goes back on the clock as Aston received the rebound. Liam Aston, the Ottawa, Ontario native, 31 points coming into today's game. A little rotational play into that corner. Pfeiffer at the top of the world, looking for a seam. Out of the corner, Sinfield trying to pull the trigger was Aston, but fanned on it. Now down low is Sinfield, is stopped by Cosgrove, and they're going to give the RiverWolves the ball back. Some pushing and shoving behind the play as Owen Dale eventually will grab the biscuit for the Paris RiverWolves. Now it's the captain for the visitors, marching up the floor in Woodland. Curtis Woodland from Fergus, Ontario, coming into this game with 14 goals and 26 assists. That's 5.7 points per game. With his team short-handed, only 12 seconds left on the man advantage for the Steelhawks, trying to pry at the biscuit right away is Cody Hamley, and they do draw the ball loose out of that affair. Pfeiffer gets into the zone but backtracks. The Oshawa, Ontario native leads the team with 23 goals, and as Brown enters the Whitby zone, we're back to 5-a-side lacrosse. Ty Argent, who was traded over from the Six Nations Snipers, the Hamilton, Ontario native, finds it into the corner, now making a move towards Lucas Coote, and they score! Dylan Gillespie, who's been injected into this Paris RiverWolves lineup after having 13 guys scratched out, has the opening goal of the game, 2 minutes and 24 seconds into the tilt. RiverWolves, by the way, currently 3-1 on the road this season, but 1-1 in this building, including a 17-16 victory over the Oshawa Outlaws. Paris actually started the season 0-3, but went on a 6-game winning streak. That was snapped, though, in their last game in a 21-11 loss to the Peterborough Timbermen last Saturday. So 1-0, Dylan Gillespie, as a low shot by Brown is swallowed up by Lucas Coote. Coote has already got 7 assists this season. Launches up the floor to Woods. Woods is denied by Cosgrove, and back the other way we go through the RiverWolves. Nick Ellerton takes a hit from Woods, plays it back to his teammate Gillespie, who scored the opening goal of this game. Goes across the floor. Loving the sneakers. The lime green sneakers is denied, though. That's Caden Merritt. You think those sneakers would belong in the Steelhawks that have lime green in the trim of their jerseys. Crowley gets into the zone. Owen Boyle tiptoes his way backwards into the corner and retrieves this ball back to Aston. Into that far corner, that's Bosin. Oh no, I apologize, that's Braden McGregor. So Owen Boyle looking for a seam, tried to feed this to Goodchild. It's picked off by Cosgrove. Trying to launch this up to Minicello. Minicello from the goalie, tried to go to that top corner, but missed it on the far side of Lucas Coote. Goodchild and the Steelhawks coming back the other way. Down 1-0 with 1:10 remaining in this opening frame. The loose change rolls into the far corner. Not being able to handle it right away, though, was Liam Aston, and Connor Scott settles it down for his teammate and Cam Mancini. Mancini walks this into the Steelhawks zone. Tried to bounce pass it to his captain, but it eluded Curtis Woodland that time. A chance now, and they score! Cutting into the slot and ripping this behind Lucas Coote was Caden Merritt, and it's 2-0 for the visiting Paris RiverWolves, 4 minutes and 11 seconds into the game. The RiverWolves averaging 14.3 goals per game this season, but they only have a +7 goal differential. They're in 4th place in the East standings with a 6-4 record. Now, couple that with the Peterborough loss earlier today to Six Nations, an opportunity for Paris to find themselves traveling northbound, if you will, in the East Division standings if they do go to 7-4. So 2-0 for the RiverWolves. Again, it was the Steelhawks that prevailed 20-12 the last time these two teams hooked it up back on Sunday, December 15th at the Iroquois Lacrosse Arena. Nakamura to a teammate, and Merritt fires into the chest of Coote. The rebound's bouncing around, and the Whitby goaltender has it. As mentioned before, for Lucas Coote, he's a 2-time ALL champion. In fact, that happened in back-to-back years. He was on Oshawa in 2017 and Whitby in 2018. Whitby looking for their first goal of the game. Aaron pass goes into the lap, though, of the Paris RiverWolves. And now Ty Argent, the Hamilton, Ontario native, gets pickpocketed from behind nicely, though, from Cameron York. He will settle it down and bounce this ball to Merritt. Merritt over to the captain and Woodland. Woodland with a low shot right into the mask, if you will, of Lucas Coote. In fact, it might have hung out in his neck guard temporarily, and he settles it down for Hamley. Hamley shoots into the zone. Hamley with a seam, tries to go top shelf, but goes over the net, and it hits the Raptors. That should give Paris the ball back. So again, last time these two teams hooked it up, it actually was the season opener for Whitby, and it was a season and home opener for Paris. Paris would actually have a 2-0 lead, ironically enough, and they were out shooting Whitby 13-12 over the opening 15 minutes of play. Steelhawks would respond with a 6-goal second quarter and have a 6-5 lead at halftime. But even though Whitby put up 8 goals in the third period, they would end up taking a 14-8 lead heading into the fourth, and the Steelhawks would clean up with the 20-12 victory. But here they are, down 2-0 again. Can they come back? It's Orpana over to his teammate. They keep crossing the blue carpet. That's Highland with the shot, and he scores! Quinn Highland finds a seam behind Chase Cosgrove, who is coming off of a 39-save performance in that 21-11 loss to Peterborough. Highland has the Steelhawks on the board. It's a 2-1 game here with 9:03 remaining in the opening frame. Whitby, the second highest offense with 171 goals forward coming into today's action. That's just behind the Brampton Express that have 174. But Whitby does have the best defense, statistically speaking, only giving up 125 goals so far this season. Make that 127 currently. So under 9 to go, taking a bit of a slash there on the far half wall, but making the play to Merritt. Merritt being bumped into fiercely by John Weller. Merritt spinning off of the defender in Clancy. Gives it to a teammate, but actually it bounces loosely through Lucas Coote's crease, and the Steelhawks have an exit plan down the right side. It's Woods, the Ottawa, Ontario native, who has 29 points coming into this game, including 5 short-handed goals. Here he finds Liam Aston on the far side. Aston tries to cut in through the slot, lost it as he was spilling down to the floor, but now Pfeiffer goes after the loose change, and there's two RiverWolves that maul him and commandeer the rock. Back the other way, Steven Pelliccioni. Again, him and Gillespie. Gillespie actually had the opening goal of this game. Two of the Paris Wolves put into the roster with the 13 scratches, including guys like Marley Angus, Harrison Brooks, and Brett Hansor, just to name a few. The officials today, by the way, is your crew chief and Alex Wagner and Mike Melvin and Brad Fennell. Now, the officials got together and recognized that this ball had deflected off of the Steelhawk, giving Paris the ball back here with 7:57 remaining in the opening 15. Simonelli, he'll be relied on a lot. The Calgary, Alberta native leads his team with assists with 28 and has 38 points so far this season. Morgan goes into the corner to chase it down. The ball eludes him, though. And I believe that is the aforementioned Simonelli crossing over mid-floor with it. A high pass settled down by his teammate Connor Scott. Scott sandwiched right now by two Steelhawks. And I apologize, I was Ty Argent, the Hamilton, Ontario native, who, as I mentioned before, Argent actually got traded over here from the Six Nations Snipers. He was drafted by the Buffalo Bandits in the 5th round, 73rd overall back in the 2020 NLL draft. Goodchild to Aston. Aston tried to make a swivel move. And Aston is going to draw the penalty out of Steven Pelliccioni, who's going to head off to the sin bin for 2 or less here. So the Steelhawks, with a power play coming into this game, operating at 83%, down to 1 as the sin bin doors open for the Paris RiverWolves. We're going to take a brief break here from Children's Arena. Back to the action from Children's Arena with 7:11 remaining in the opening frame. We have a penalty assessed to the Paris RiverWolves. Will send the Steelhawks to the power play. Down 2-1, it's Aston to Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer to the near side to Orpana. Orpana receiving it back to Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer in the high slot. No looker to Aston. Aston's going to sidestep his way and take the shot. It's stopped, though, by Cosgrove. And now Cam Mancini, though, can't get out of the way. He'll be helped out by Dawson Brown, but remember, they couldn't get out of the zone in time, so the officials give Whitby the ball back. Sinfield, who's coming off of a 5-goal performance, gives this ball to Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer to Aston. Aston with the shot. They're going to say Cosgrove got a piece of it as it ricochets into the mesh. Cosgrove, by the way, made 45 saves in that 20-12 loss to the Steelhawks last time these two teams hooked it up. He makes a nice save here on the short side on Aston, but Pfeiffer will collect the rock. Pfeiffer had 9 points and was the first star of the game the last time these two teams played each other. Here he is at the top of the slot, no looker to Aston. Aston across the floor to Orpana, but a Paris RiverWolves stick got in the way and allows Cosgrove to head down the floor to Brown. Pass picked off by Orpana. A bouncer to Sinfield. Sinfield launches into the chest of Cosgrove. Now Minichello, the assistant captain, getting it out of the danger zone. Has Merritt up the floor. Missed him. Lucas Kook comes out of his net to try and disrupt the play. It's Devin Pfeiffer pulling away with the rock with 45 seconds left on the power play. RiverWolves penalty kill coming into this contest, operating at 34% so far. Goodchild into the corner. Grabs the ball back. Goodchild to Pfeiffer. That ball hit traffic, though, and now reflects into Orpana. To Goodchild. To Aston. Now, that's Orpana. Nice move, and Cosgrove equal to the task. Orpana faked high and went low on Cosgrove. And the Woodsley, Ontario native in Cosgrove made the save. By the way, Cosgrove was a civil engineering major during his time with the University of Windsor. He opted to stay at home and play his final year of Junior B lacrosse with his hometown Windsor Clippers. John Weller receives the pass from Lucas Coote. Weller to a teammate down low, and they score! Nate Woods, the Ottawa, Ontario native, has his 19th goal of the year. This is a guy that played 4 years of varsity lacrosse at South Carleton High School, where he captained at both a junior and a senior. Weller got that ball from Coote. I wonder if they give Lucas Coote an assist on that play. It wouldn't shock me, considering when they beat the Steelhawks back on December 15th, Coote had 36 saves and 3 assists as a goalie in that game. So a 2-2 game, and the officials quickly give Nick Ellerton and the Paris RiverWolves the ball back here. So they are giving Lucas Coote an assist. So his 8th assist of the season for the goaltender between the pipes for Whitby. There's some guys offensively that don't have 8 points so far on the campaign. As some rough stuff at mid-floor sends a RiverWolf and Dawson Brown flying. Hamley is given possession of the rock. He's going to backtrack to the bench. It's Goodchild to the far wall to Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer, as I mentioned, leading this team in goals with 23, leading this team in assists with 48, and points with 71. To the near half wall to Cameron York. York to McGregor. McGregor trying to go to the 5-hole, and Cosgrove denies him. So now at mid-floor, Woodland, the captain, with just about 4 minutes remaining in this opening frame. A no-looker from behind that time from Ty Argent. The Hamilton, Ontario native trying to get a little crafty there. So Cameron York spinning off of a would-be hit from Ty Argent. Big stop, though, as that was Owen Boyle looking to give the Steelhawks a taste of the lead. Pfeiffer now down low. Cosgrove looked behind him, but the ball missed the net. It's over and back, allowing the Paris RiverWolves to take over. So Caden Merritt, Dylan Gillespie, they have the goal so far for the RiverWolves. 20 seconds left on the shot clock. Merritt, who like I mentioned had one of the goals, tried to go backdoor to a teammate. Koichi Nakamura was there, but the ball just wouldn't settle down for him. Quinn Highland and Nate Woods so far have the 2 goals for the Steelhawks. Woods gives this ball to Orpana, though, and will head off to the bench. Orpana sprinting into the RiverWolves zone, puts on the brakes and feeds Morgan. In tow to Sinfield. Sinfield with a move. Sinfield on his backhand, though, forced into the corner. 6 seconds left on the shot clock. Tried to go short side and missed. And to be honest with you, Sinfield coming off of a 5-goal performance in that 24-12 victory over the Oswego Bears here at Children's Arena last Saturday. So not a bad guy to shoot the rock if you're Coach Daggerton, along with Coach Reed and the rest of the staff on that Steelhawks bench. Simonelli to the captain in Woodland. Woodland to Ty Argent, who couldn't handle it cleanly. 13 seconds left on the shot clock. Argent retreats, getting away from Osborne. Now it's Clancy engaging him. 7 seconds left on the shot clock. Nice pass to Woodland. Woodland trying to get it to Simonelli. Now it's behind the net. A desperation shot. Now Coop made the save, but I think the officials are indicating that the shot clock had expired. 2:22 remaining in this opening frame in a 2-2 game from Children's Arena. As I mentioned before, 69 years and 4 days ago, the doors of Children's Arena opened for the first time, and here we are, Arena Lacrosse League action in the East Division between the 9-1 Steelhawks and the 6-4 RiverWolves. It's the Steelhawks trying to go back door. It's lying in the crease somewhere. That's Steven Pellicini. As now there's some hacking behind the play. The officials were looking to their left. The play happened to their right, and that went undetected. And Paris will take advantage of that fact as Scott will feed his teammate off of the bench, and Dylan Gillespie, who opened up the scoring here tonight. He was trying to find Nakamura, who was pinched off the ball. Numbers and speed the other way for the Steelhawks, led by Woods. Woods trying to go low and scores! Nate Woods, that's goal number 20 on the campaign, point number 31. And now the Steelhawks have a taste of the lead with 95 seconds left in the opening frame. There was a delayed penalty on that play, but before Lucas Coote could even get to the bench for 6-on-5, Woods already utilized his speed to race down the blue carpet and beats Cosgrove for the 3rd time tonight. So, as I mentioned before, Woods' 2nd goal of the game. That gives him 20 on the campaign for the Ottawa, Ontario native. And Coach Daggerton has to be pretty pleased with that. His team enters with the best record in the ALL in total. Remember, out west, I should say, there is the Shooting Eagles, as Cosgrove makes a beautiful save on Orpana. The Shooting Eagles, by the way, have a record of 9-2. That's an 818, I should say, winning percentage. 9-1, though, by the Steelhawks, looking to improve to 10-1. That's a 900 winning percentage. Simonelli to a teammate in front of the net. They score! Oh, captain, my captain. Woodland received the pass from Simonelli. He had the goalie going left to right on the radio dial and found the top shelf. We're tied up at threes with 58.1 seconds left in the opening 15. Noah Simonelli, a Calgary, Alberta native, his 11th goal of the year, came into this game leading the team in assists with 28 and had 38 points. That's 5.4 points per game, and currently he's attending Brock University. Go Badgers! So back to the center of the blue carpet here from Oshawa, Ontario. Winning this draw is Robert Morgan, and as a result, you have Adam Perroni going off for fresh legs. So now, Owen Boyle looks to make a move. Owen Boyle cuts through the slot. Goes to that far wall to Aston. Aston looking to find a seam and can. Aston spinning off a defender in Scott. Gives it back to Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer shoots and scores! Devin Pfeiffer with his team leading 24th goal of the campaign. He came in leading in goals, assists, and points for the Steelhawks. Oh yeah, he's also got 2 game-winning goals. It's awfully early, though. 4-3 is the lead for the Steelhawks with 33.5 seconds. Now, what's interesting to note, the last 2 Steelhawks goals have come off of delayed penalties, but in both of those affairs, their goalie and Coote never got to the bench in time before Cosgrove on the other end was beaten. And oh no, maybe somebody forgot to pay the electrical bill as the scoreboard has blacked out here at Children's Arena after that last goal. We are sitting at a 4-3 game here between the Steelhawks and the RiverWolves. And back to the action we're going to quickly go. And again, a reminder, these two teams played each other back on Sunday, December 15th. It was the Steelhawks prevailing 20-12, but Paris was leading that game 2-0. Why do I mention that? Well, Paris was leading this game 2-0 and find themselves down 4-3 here with 23 seconds left in the opening frame. Nick Ellerton to Merritt. Trying to go to the bench now is Cosgrove, and he will. So 6-on-5 lacrosse for the RiverWolves, but they got to be careful because the net is empty. Gillespie to Merritt to the far corner. Now it's Gillespie looking to cock it back and does. The stop is made. Now only 2 seconds left. Long distance shot. Misses by a barn length wide to the right, but I like the effort nevertheless. There was about only 2-point-something seconds left on the clock. And with the net empty, why not take a gander at it? But after the opening 15 minutes of play, 7 goals are on the board. It was a 2-0 score at one point for the Paris RiverWolves, but they find themselves down 4-3 after 15. We got the second cue on the other side of this quick break. Welcome back to Children's Arena, an exciting 4-3 game for the Whitby Steelhawks after they were trailing 2-0 out of the gate to the RiverWolves. Want to give a big shout out to the Braveheart himself, Donald Beatty, getting us through all the camera angles here today, as well as Dan Malta, our executive producer, and JVI Productions, putting up everything on YouTube. And by the way, if you want to check out the latest game stats or information, simply go on to arenalacrosseleague.ca. So away we go into the second quarter of 4 here on your Saturday evening. Cosgrove had to be sharp. The rebound popped off the end boards, and Goodchild's met by 2 RiverWolves along the end wall, and they're trying to maraud the ball away from him, and they do. Cam Mancini, he's met though, and now the Steelhawks get the ball back. Pfeiffer with a long shot just wide on the left side of the goalie in Cosgrove. Nick Ellerton. 1-on-4, goes into the zone but puts on the brakes, waiting for some support, and he has it now in Ty Argent. The Hamilton, Ontario native, surveying the situation. Crawling down the near wall, looking around at his options, tries the spin move, backhands this to Merritt. Merritt couldn't get it though as Coote plays it away from him. Lucas Coote trying to go long distance, if you will, and finds Hamley. Hamley bounces this back to Morgan though, and Morgan will go off to the bench for fresh Steelhawks for Coach Daggerton. Handling the bouncing rock is Aston. Aston crosses the floor. Quick shot from York. York, though, actually hit the back of the mesh. Few fans thought that was another goal. $1:20 into this second frame. Ty Argent walks this back into Whitby territory. Watch that time from Ferrerde. Argent, he's going to head off and feed Merritt. Merritt to the captain in Woodland. Nakamura looked like he got upended in front of the net, but keeps on ticking along. The captain in Woodland Tries to cross this one over to Dylan Gillespie. He missed it, though. And now a low shot whistles wide. And now one-on-one the other way goes Woods. Woods already with 2 goals in this game, looking for the hat trick. Tried to go short side on Cosgrove, who denied him. Mancini spinning off of a would-be hit from Highland. Finds Brown. Brown trying to avoid Highland now. And Clancy, for that matter. Brown with the shot, Coote with the save. And again, these two teams battled back on Sunday, December 15th. It was a 20-12 victory for the Steelhawks. Evan Pfeiffer had 9 points in that game. Brady Keenan, who's not available in this game, had 6 points. And Liam Osborne, he's also another scratch. He had 5 points in that game. Looking to go down low with it. Instead, he's going to keep hanging on to the rock at Sinfield, eventually feeding Orpana. Orpana high slot, hits the defender low that time, and Owen Dale, oh me, oh my. As now trying to fight their way through is McGregor with the shot, but they're going to say the shot clock did expire. And Owen Dale appears to be okay. He's hobbling off to the bench after getting it, well, a place that's not so pleasurable. Merritt, nice cheeky move, fires it onto Coote, and the Whitby goaltender makes the stop. Now Morgan hunting down the loose rock into the Paris zone, but the goalie grabs it first. Cosgrove to his assistant captain and Nick Ellerton. Ellerton feeds it into RiverWolf territory. Tic-tac-toe is denied by Coote. That was Caden Merritt again looking to cap off that tic-tac-toe play, but instead it's Crowley and the Steelhawks retreating back the other way. Orpana cuts back to the middle of the floor. Goes to the near wall to Devin Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer looks to cut in. Pfeiffer with the chance. I think that hit the top of the stick that time of Cosgrove and over the crossbar. Now another save by Cosgrove. He's been uber sharp to start this one, and his team is still though trailing 4-3. Brown thought about attacking the net, instead retreats it back to Woodland, and he's going to go off for fresh RiverWolves. Woodland forced down low by Highland. Thinking about throwing this one out front. Woodland was trying to find Gillespie. The loose puck, or loose ball, I should say, is gobbled up by Clancy. And now Clancy 2-on-2 into the Paris zone. Clancy into the chest of Cosgrove, and before the rebound could be siphoned by Sinfield, Cosgrove plays it away to Caden Merritt. Merritt, again, I look at those shoes and go, wait a minute, that guy should be playing for the Steelhawks, no? As he makes a pass to Nakamura, who just narrowly misses the net, and then does a great job to temporarily keep it in favor for Paris, but not too long, as Woods, already on the hat trick watch, tries to fire this one to the left side of Cosgrove, who makes the save. Cosgrove with a bit of a Peyton Manning-style pass, if you will, to Nick Ellerton, who caught it on the hop. Takes a hit from Wheeler, bounces this one on the floor to the far side to a teammate who gives it to Caden Merritt. Merritt walks this one to the near wall as Ellerton's going off for a change on the fly, if you will, with Woodland. Woodland, watch out for him cutting into the slot. This one deflected, though, off of the stick of Adam Peroni, and it'll give Paris the ball back and a fresh 20 on the clock. Near corner, thinking about firing this one. It's Argent, hit the crossbar. Merritt, spinning around, another save by Coote. Ty Argent has the ball played away from him. Great job by the Steelhawks. It's Hamley, but great job by Morgan to set this play up. Now trying to get a little too fancy with it, if you ask me, was Adam Peroni. It was a 3-on-1, and he decided to do a no-looker across the radio dial. An illegal pick set by Peroni down on Brown will give the Paris RiverWolves the ball back with 9:40 remaining before the halftime break. Paris was enjoying a 2-0 lead to start this game, but now find themselves down 4-3 here on your Saturday night on the road. Merritt looking to tie this one up, but missed the net well wide to the right side. They're going to say this deflected off? No, one official says it did. The other official says it's over and back. So out of that far corner, it's Owen Boyle. Boyle being watched by Mancini. Boyle blows by Mancini, feeds Cameron York, tries to go low. Cosgrove with the save. He'll just underhand this one nicely over to Minichello. Marcus Minichello into the zone. Looks around at what he can do. Goes to his left side to a teammate that cuts back to where Minichello was in Ty Argent. He has his captain in Woodland behind the net. Argent finds Woodland. Woodland trying to wrap it around. and it stays out. John Weller with a little skip to my Lou around Ty Argent. Into this near corner with 8:45 remaining in this frame. And as Nick Ellerton was spilt down to the blue carpet, the RiverWolves are rewarded the ball back. Ty Argent looks to take a shot, fakes it. Nice move to separate the defense. And a slashing penalty is drawn out of the play. You had Lucas Coote looking behind him for the bouncing ball. It stayed out, didn't cross over the goal line, but they're going to say Ty Argent's extra efforts draws a penalty out of Keegan Crowley. And now the RiverWolves will go back to a power play. RiverWolves currently 3-1 on the road this season, 1-1 in this building, including a 17-16 win over the Oshawa Outlaws. They did start the season, though, 0-3 before going on a 6-game winning streak. They enter this game with a power play operating at 46%. Woodland trying to fire this one behind Coop, but it hit off of traffic. The RiverWolves, like I mentioned, their power play at 46%. Whitby Steelhawks penalty kill operating at 56%. Argent to Merritt. Merritt scores! Great job, though, by the Hamilton native and Ty Argent, who's going to get credited for the assist to sort of lure the defense and Coop, for that matter, to the center of the slot. A great no-looker to Merritt. Merritt with his second goal of the game. Paris currently sitting 4th in the East Division, and their stats truly fit them for a 4th-place team. They have the 4th most goals in the East Division with 143. They have the 4th least goals against with 136. As Ferrerde battles for the biscuit off of the hop. As Cosgrove, they're going to say he didn't make the save. I thought that hit the inside of the bar, but instead they're going to say Cosgrove was beaten to his left side, and mere seconds after the RiverWolves have tied this game up 4-4, the Steelhawks take back the lead. It's definitely been a game of runs. You had the RiverWolves starting off this game 2-0. Nate Woods and Quinn Highland tag team their way to make it 3-2. Woodland tied it up 3-3, and then Pfeiffer and Caden Merritt made it 4-4. But that literally was with 8:11 is when Merritt scored. 11 seconds later, the Whitby Steelhawks grabbed the lead back. It's a 5-4 game. And this is a team in the Whitby Steelhawks that averaged 17.1 goals per game. They've hit 24 twice this season, as Orpana's shot goes right off the mask that time of Cosgrove. It's safe to see the goalie saw it. Ty Argent, nice pass down low. It's Ellerton trying to get it towards Lucas Coop, but it missed the cage, and now numbers the other way for the Steelhawks. Taking the shot, making the save is Cosgrove, that time on Adam Peroni. And with 7:15 remaining here in the second frame, it's a 5-4 game in favor of the Whitby Steelhawks, looking to improve to 10-1 in the regular season here at Children's Arena. We'll be back after this brief break. It's a 5-4 game for the Whitby Steelhawks over the Paris RiverWolves here with 7:15 remaining in the second frame. Caden Merritt had tied this game up at 4-4 with 8:11 remaining in the period. 11 seconds later, though, the Steelhawks grab the lead back, and it's a 5-4 contest. So here go the RiverWolves offense yet again. It's Woodland trying to track down the ball in the corner, being guarded by Cody Hamley. The turnover is created and allows Crowley 3-on-3. Kind of surveyed the situation and thought better of it. He puts on the brakes and goes off to the bench. DeBrone leaves it there for Aston. Liam Aston, the Ottawa, Ontario native, came in with 14 goals in this game. Well, say his name and he appears. Liam Aston, the Ottawa, Ontario native, with 6:35 remaining before halftime, has given his team a 2-goal lead. So after Owen Orpana scored officially 9 seconds after Caden Merritt to make it 5-4, You have Liam Aston making it a 6-4 game with 6:35 left before the halftime break. Aston currently attending Guelph University. Go Griffins. As the officials talking with Connor Scott after that faceoff win, he didn't like how that transpired. And instead, the Steelhawks look to continue their momentum here. As this ball eludes the net twice, Pfeiffer got it back and tried to go far side on Cosgrove and missed the net. Aston back at the top of the high slot. Aston looks to step into this one. Got a bit of a high chop in on Brown. That went undetected by the officials. Oh wait, no it didn't. Ty Argent back the other way. Lucas Coote says access denied. And just before Cosgrove could get off to the bench for the extra attacker, the sin bin doors will open for the Steelhawks. It will be a power play for the RiverWolves, down by 2 with less than 6 minutes to go in the opening half. So Liam Aston, I believe, who just scored the last goal of this game with 6:35 remaining, well, 38 seconds later, finds himself in the penalty box for 2 or less. The RiverWolves, as I mentioned, have a power play operating at 46% coming into today's action. You got to watch out for Woodland, who's got 4 power play goals so far this season. Merritt with the shot. Coote with the save, although I don't think he knew where it was right away. And for Caden Merritt, he came into this game with 21 goals, 26 assists for 47 points. And so far in this game, he's added another 2 goals, so he's got 23 on the campaign and counting for a guy that's averaging 4.7 points per game on the year. 10 seconds left on the shot clock for the team short-handed in the Whitby Steelhawks. 1:18 left on the power play. And we're getting too many men on the floor here by Whitby. I think we are. An illegal substitution. Whitby's bench pretty upset at that, but we are getting too many men or an illegal substitution called here. You can hear the assistant coach on the far side there and Brad Reed saying that's simply not a penalty, but the officials do get the last word in the situation. So, by the way, the penalty box and the locker or bench doors are all open for Whitby. Eventually, Whitby puts Clancy in the box and the doors close. 1:16 of 5-on-3 advantage here for the Paris RiverWolves, down by 2. So Woodland to Merritt. Merritt behind the cage. I believe that's Argent. Back to Merritt. Merritt. Down low again, trying to wrap it around, and they're going to say he scored. That foot was dangerously close to the crease, but Ty Argent crept from behind the net to the right side of Cosgrove's blind side and, well, ripples the twine. He brings his team within 1. 5-on-3 power play goal by Ty Argent. And oh yeah, with 4:56 remaining here at the first half, they still have a $143 of a man advantage. You could tell the Whitby bench and some Whitby fans not too favorable on that illegal substitution call that led to the 5-on-3 advantage for Paris, and it led to the Ty Argent goal. So Argent already with 3 points in this game, 2 assists and a goal. Wanting a slashing call that time, as taking a lick was Adam Peroni. 14 seconds left on the shot clock. Sinfield, who has 5 goals the last game, goes on in and scores! Landon Sinfield short-handed, and the Steelhawks have a touchdown on the board. It's a 7-5 game. I kept mentioning how Landon Sinfield had 5 goals in the last game against the Ohsweken Bears last Saturday here at Children's Arena. It was a 24-12 final. That was actually the 3rd game of the season that Whitby had a scoreboard with 24 in it. Twice they've put up 24, and once they've lost by 24. They had 24 goals scored against them in their only loss of the season in Brampton to the Express. So 7-5 is the scoreboard for Whitby. Trying to change that now is Connor Scott, and his team's trying to set up their power play again with 1 minute left on it. 4:12 remains here in the first half of action from Children's Arena on your Saturday night. It's the 9-1 Steelhawks and the 6-4 RiverWolves doing battle here in the East Division. As setting up the box for the penalty kill are the Steelhawks. Argent to Woodland, or Argent to Merritt, and they're going to say crease violation will give the Steelhawks the ball back. To be honest with you, you definitely saw it that time with Merritt's foot. I kind of thought on the Ty Argent wraparound goal that his foot touched down in the crease prior to putting the goal behind Lucas Coop. But you know what? The officials are way closer than I am to the action. 35 seconds remains on the man advantage. Short-handed, Cameron York goes to work in the Paris zone. Being watched out by Ellerton and Ty Argent. Finds Orpana. Orpana on his offhand looks to get this to McGregor. No, he's just going to backtrack instead. In 10 seconds left on the shot clock, Orpana still continuing to waste precious time. Short-handed on the short side, he tries to beat Cosgrove. 7 seconds left of the man advantage. Ty Argent tries to race this one up the field. Has his shot blocked. The captain grabs the rebound, though. We're back to five-a-side lacrosse. Woodland to his teammate. Big stop that time. As that was Dylan Gillespie being set up by his captain. But now back to even strength lacrosse. Whitby will settle this down back in Paris' zone. DeBrone to the far side, just out of the reach of Goodchild. It still goes into the lap, though, of a teammate, Owen Boyle. Boyle out of the corner. Looks to give it to Highland, potentially. No, he'll cross the floor to Aston. 2:40 left on the clock. Aston into the seam. Sinfield was looking for his second goal of the game. This actually hit off a defender's stick and into the mesh. It'll give Whitby the ball back. So 20 seconds is put back on the shot clock for the host Whitby Steelhawks. Sinfield has the ball knocked away from him, and now there's a foot race to the loose change on the near wall. Mancini's the first to collect it, but with 4 other RiverWolves going off for a change, he's going to gander back to his captain and go off for a change. So Woodland getting a pick from Merritt. Separated to the near side. Gives it to Merritt. Couldn't handle the pass right away. 13 seconds left on the shot clock. Merritt out of the wall. Watched by Goodchild. Was trying to find Woodland. The pass eluded him and Coote in the Whitby net. And eventually it is gobbled up here by John Weller. Weller avoids a hit from Merritt and continues to hunt down the rock. Big stop that time from Cosgrove off of Cody Hamley. $1:40 remains here in the opening half. A 7-5 lead for Whitby. Orpana to his teammate, racing off of the boards. Cold shoulders Minichello down that Sinfield. Orpana's shot, though, hit off of traffic. And I believe we're getting a penalty here to Paris. So the penalty box doors open. A holding penalty to Mancini here with 1:29 remaining in the opening half. The Steelhawks, who have a deadly power play operating at 83%, have a chance to go back to work here with 89 seconds left in the opening half. Devin Pfeiffer, who had 11 points in this team's last win, 24-12 over the Oshwegan Bears, came into this game with 71 points, averaging 7.1 points per game. Here he is at the top of the world to Orpana. Orpana cuts in and scores! 15 seconds into the man advantage, Devin Pfeiffer finds Orpana. It's Orpana's second goal of the game. I'd imagine when you know you're facing a team like the Whitby Steelhawks with an 83% power play. I don't think I've ever heard of such a thing in any sport before. I think discipline's number one on the chalkboard in the dressing room. Well, if you take a penalty, that's exactly what's going to happen. 15 seconds into it, Orpana's second goal of the game is a power play marker that gives the Steelhawks a 3-goal lead. Now there's a lacrosse stick symphony at mid-floor to try and get the loose change. Ty Argent pulls away with the rock. Argent stuck on his backhand, though, forced into the near corner from the efforts of John Weller. Caden Merritt from Argent crosses over to the near side. He's being guarded by Goodchild. Merritt Looks to switch off. Merritt finds a seam and scores! Caden Merritt, the Acton, Ontario native who averaged 4.7 points per game coming into this contest, has the hat trick, and the RiverWolves only find themselves down 8-6 in the final minute of the opening half. It'll be the 24th goal of the year for Merritt. He played Junior B for the Halton Hills Bulldogs back in 2024, where he scored 18 goals, 22 assists for 40 points in just 7 regular season games. So under 40 seconds remains here in the second frame. Argent splits the defenders, then no-looks this one to a teammate who's going to settle it down, and Dawson Brown. Brown to Simonelli. Simonelli looks back to his bench for instructions, takes the shot, hits off of traffic, and goes into the mesh. It'll give Paris the ball back. Note, the officials recant on that, and they are going to give Whitby the ball back here. And triple check that, we got a timeout called by Paris. That would make more sense. So with the timeout here looming for the visiting Paris RiverWolves and an 8-6 scoreboard favoring the Whitby Steelhawks, we'll be back after this quick break. After the timeout by Paris, this is tricky. For some reason, the coaching staff has elected to pull the goalie. Now, granted, they have 30 seconds of shot clock. There's only 25.5 seconds left on the second quarter. But if you turn over this ball or lose it, there's a chance for some problems. As in fact, Cosgrove is actually standing at mid-floor right now. And with him losing the rock, he's going to have to tiptoe his way back into the paint with Woods hunting him down. Woods scores! With 9.6 seconds left on the clock, it's a 9-6 game. Woods barrels in for the hat trick. Man, oh man. Paris thought they were pulling the goalie. As soon as they lost possession of the ball, Cosgrove tried to tiptoe his way back. The issue is he had to tiptoe halfway across the entire floor here at Children's Arena. And as he was backtracking, coming out in full force was Nate Woods. Woods with the hat trick. And for Nate Woods, the Ontario native, that's 21 goals so far this season. As I think we're getting a penalty called here with 3.4 seconds left. Oh no, I apologize. Another timeout being taken, this time by Coach Daggerton and the Steelhawks. They want to see if they can even make it 10-6 before the halftime break. We'll be back after this brief pause in action. 3.4 seconds left. Lucas Coote sits on the bench. It's 6-on-5 lacrosse in favor of the Steelhawks. They're going to be given the ball through McGregor here on the near half wall. So as soon as it's blown in, 3.4 seconds left to go. Out of the corner, they're going to have to hustle this one, and Sinfield misses the net. So 30 minutes is in the books from Children's Arena here on your Saturday evening. It is the 9-1 Steelhawks leading by a score of 9-6 over the 6-4 Paris RiverWolves after 30 minutes of play. For the Braveheart and Donald Beatty, I'm Jonathan Urbanowicz. You're watching Arena Lacrosse League action here from Children's Arena on your Saturday night. We got the second half of action after this. 30 minutes is in the books, 30 minutes still on tap here from Children's Arena on your Saturday evening. Last night in this barn, the Toronto Monarchs beat the Oshawa Outlaws by a score of 16-10. And then earlier today in this barn, it was the Six Nations Snipers breaking out of a 5-game losing streak, beating the Peterborough Timbermen by a score of 16-9. That plays an implication on this game, because if the Paris RiverWolves were able to come back and pull out the victory, they would pass the Peterborough Timbermen in the East Division standings. Whitby with a healthy 9-6 lead. Devin Pfeiffer trying to go into the jaws of the defense. Didn't like what he saw. Took a slash, if you will, from Mancini. He's going to backtrack this to Sinfield. Sinfield trying to cut his way through. Sinfield lost it on the dribble. And now a chance back the other way for Nick Ellerton. Ellerton, though, just couldn't handle the skipping rock on the blue pond, if you will. And now Merritt, who's already got a hat trick in this game, will carry it back the other way. And I apologize, that was Hamley. Merritt, by the way, 4 points in this game, including 3 goals. In that far corner, that's McGregor with the shot. Not being able to handle it cleanly was Cosgrove, but eventually he settles it down. Sees his team entirely changing on the bench, so bounces this one up front to Simonoli. or Simonelli, they're going to say that's over and back. He either had to play that on the hop and continue heading northbound, or he had to take a step in and cut that on his side of the floor. He didn't do either of them, and as a result, Whitby gets possession of the rock. Orpana already with 2 goals in this game. And an assist for 3 points. Cameron York to Devin Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer is denied. He's got 2 points so far in this game for 73 points and counting on the season. 12 seconds left on the shot clock. That's Pfeiffer to Aston. Aston with some real estate. He scores! Liam Aston with his 2nd goal of the game. It's his 16th of the season. He's now got 34 points for the Ottawa, Ontario native, as the current Guelph Griffin has made it a 4-goal lead for the host Whitby Steelhawks. Steelhawks, as I mentioned before, averaging 17.1 goals per game so far this year and have a plus 46 goals differential. They have 2 games so far this season where they've put up 24 goals. Ironically, in their only loss of the season, they gave up 24 goals to the Brampton Express. So if you like offense, come and check out some Whitby Steelhawks games is essentially what I'm getting at, folks. Sinfield, who had 5 goals his last game, goes on in, and Cosgrove had to be sharp. As tiptoeing back is Boyle to Sinfield, to McGregor, who spins off of the defender. Gobbled up by Chase Cosgrove. And he finds his captain in Woodland. Woodland puts on the brakes, though. Again, came into this game with 40 points, averaging 5.7 points per game. He stays on the floor, though, as Koshi Nakamura retrieves this to Simonelli. Simonelli was trying to pass it, harassed enough by Crowley that he lost the ball. Now Nakamura with the crease violation. He was trying to wrap it around the left side of Coot. 12:25 remains here in the third. A 10-6 game in favor of the 9-1 Steelhawks taking on the 6-4 RiverWolves. As Goodchild is denied. And taking a slash on the hands that time, but continuing to head northbound is Brown. Brown has a teammate with him in Dylan Gillespie. Instead, it's Woodland trying to keep it away from Morgan, and does to Caden Merritt. Merritt, with only 10 seconds left on the shot clock, gives it to a teammate in Gillespie who's being watched fiercely by Ferrerde. Gillespie fired it far side low, just missed it, and then the loose change is just kept out in front of the Whitby bench by Ty Arjun, who shovels this one down to Lucas Coote. So with a 4-goal lead, here go the Steelhawks offense back to work. Owen Boyle cuts into the teeth, takes a bouncer. This actually ricochets off of a few things, including the rafters, which will give Paris the rock back. Cam Mancini into the middle of the floor. Looking around at his options is Noah Simonelli. Simonelli came into this game leading his team with 28 assists and had 38 points. The turnover is created, and now Woods, who was a deadly threat in that opening half, is shoved down to the blue carpet, and off of his back, still made the pass to Crowley. That gets an applause from his bench. Crowley to his teammate who scores! Adam Perrone buries it. It looks like Owen Dale and the Paris RiverWolves aren't too happy. They now find themselves trailing here 11-6 with 11:02 remaining in the third. So Adam Perrone buries it behind Cosgrove, who, by the way, doesn't have his normal backup in Caleb Lever-Prea as his backup. Instead, it's Connor Waller. That is the current backup for Cosgrove. That is, if Coach Jamie Dubrick decides to go to him. Dubrick, by the way, is a 2020 Arena Lacrosse League Coach of the Year. And from 2003 to 2006, he played with the Kitchener Kodiak Senior B lacrosse team. And in 2003 and 2005, his team captured the President's Cup. So Devin Pfeiffer with his team back to a power play. Again, a power play that was operating already at 83% coming into today's game and already has one goal. Pfeiffer trying to Superman his way through the crease is denied. Sinfield grabs the loose change for Aston. Aston looking to attack. Aston head up, takes the shot low, stopped by Cosgrove, and a great job by Scott to just allow his goaltender to play the rock up the floor to Brown. The pass eluded Brown, and now it's Wright trying to go after it. Wright bombarded this time from Mark DeBrone. DeBrone will watch his teammate in Highland race across mid-floor and put on the brakes and cross this. Handling on the hop was Pfeiffer. I believe that's Landon Sinfield bouncing it back to Pfeiffer. Now to Aston. Pfeiffer at the top of the slot. Will he no-look this one to Aston? He will. Now they cross it to Orpana. Orpana with a low shot. It hit the defender that time and Nick Ellerton. And now we got some rough stuff behind the play as Scott and McGregor mix it up. What's interesting, McGregor giving up a lot of size in that encounter. And if I was Scott, I would have said, okay, you want some? I'll bring it. It looks like the officials are sending both to the sin bin. So it should remain a man advantage for the Whitby Steelhawks for 43 seconds. Again, you have your crew chief and Alex Wagner and Mike Melvin and Brad Fennell along with him as the officiating crew. Mike Melvin, by the way, in the earlier game today, with the Six Nations Snipers picking up the victory over the Peterborough Timbermen, that was his ALL officiating debut. So hopefully no sophomore jinx here in his second game today. As Jamie Dubrick wanting an explanation from the officials, and then the official looked at him and blew the whistle. I can't tell from this side of the arena what that exactly means. Is there a penalty shot being called here? And Jamie Dubrick's given the gate. I remember last game, I thought Cam Milligan was thrown out of the game, but he wasn't. This time the official looked right at the coach of Jamie Dubrick and said, head to the exit doors, and he is. Now, ironically, last night, in a rare occasion, there were two penalty shots on the same play last night in NLL action. I believe that was between Vancouver and Saskatchewan, where an illegal player off of the bench interfered with a player on the midst of a breakaway. So there was the original penalty for the breakaway itself, and then on top of that, an additional breakaway given. As Jamie Dubrick is continuing to talk from the glass, if you will, a very short leash, by the way, by the officials. Again, you can't tell what is being said on that side of the floor, so obviously something inappropriate was said. Now, what's interesting is there is a penalty shot on the board, so right now we got 5-on-3 for 43 seconds, but I saw the officials throw up the penalty shot indicator. And as I say that, only Woods is on the floor right now and the goalie in Cosgrove, which tells me we're getting one of the most exciting plays in all of lacrosse. So Nate Woods, as I mentioned before, an Ottawa, Ontario native, came into this game with 18 goals, currently sitting with 21 after already having a hat trick in this game. And it looks like he's going to get an opportunity for goal number 4 here. Coach Daggerton has elected him to take the penalty shot. But man, oh man, the RiverWolves take another penalty, they get a penalty shot, and they see their coach kicked out of the game, all out of the same play. This is a team, by the way, that has 13 scratches coming into today's game, including their leading scorer, the Quebec native in Diabo, who led the team in goals with 26 and points with 49, averaging 6.1 points per game. He's not on the team today, as well as 12 other of his teammates. And then to watch their team lose their head coach with 9:45 remaining in the third frame, down by 5. And oh yeah, they're now short 2 men on the floor for the next 43 seconds of play. Mike Melvin, Brad Fennell, and the crew chief and Alex Wagner still talking about what has transpired here at Children's Arena in front of the goalie in Chase Cosgrove. Now, what's interesting to note is I'm pretty sure they're telling that Jamie has to leave the rink. He's left the bench, but essentially, there's a little cat and mouse going on here. He wants to stay in the barn, and the officials are saying, no, you got to get out. And as a gentleman that may have or may not have been ejected from a few baseball games over his career, I know that you can't stick around, folks. You can't stick on the bench. You can't stick around the park. And in fact, I've even had an umpire walk me all the way to the parking lot one time. Now, I don't think that's what they're going to do for Coach Dubrick. But what's interesting is the coach is still technically in the rink. And I believe that's actually the commissioner, Paul St. John, talking with the head coach over there in that far corner. And to be a fly on the wall, if you will, there is no excuses to be made. 9:45 left here in the third, an 11-6 game, and again, a long pause in play here at Children's Arena. Why? Well, another penalty against Paris, a penalty shot awarded for Whitby, and then their coach and for the Paris RiverWolves and Jamie Dubrick ejected. And again, Jamie Dubrick is a 2020 ALL Coach of the Year. And he was taking a few steps towards the exit doors, but he's stopped yet again. And I don't want to bury anybody here on the broadcast, mind you, but again, from my understanding, if you are ejected from the game, you can't just stick around. I keep using baseball references, but I remember Mets manager Bobby Valentine was ejected from a game one time. He came back with a mustache and sunglasses, and he sat behind the bench, and he technically managed the game. Now, as a result, I think he actually ended up getting suspended from that affair, as the head coach for the Paris RiverWolves and the commissioner of the league still talk along the exit doors. But we got to get back to the action here at Children's Arena. 9:45 remains here in the third. An 11-6 game in favor of the Whitby Steelhawks. But it's Nate Woods, already 3 goals in this game, with the penalty shot off to the right side, cuts back in and scores. Nate Woods with his 4th goal of the game. He's now got 22 on the campaign. The Ottawa, Ontario native has made it a 12-6 contest. And oh my word, we're getting 2 straight penalty shots, just like last night in the NLL. It only happened for the first time since 2020. It's happened twice now in 24 hours. Devin Pfeiffer is denied this time, though. So a rare 2 straight penalty shots. And as I mentioned, it happened last night in the NLL. It hadn't happened in lacrosse professionally since 2020. So it happens last night on February 15th. And then the next day, February 21st, I should say. And on the next day here on the 22nd, we get it in the ALL. Nate Woods scores on a power play. Unfortunately, Devin Pfeiffer was looking to add to it with a little salt in the wounds, but he is denied on the second penalty shot. I can't believe I read that on the internet coming into today, and then it actually happened. 2 penalty shots on one play, a very rare occasion in the sport. And, well, the Whitby Steelhawks go 1 of 2, if you will, with Nate Woods getting his 4th goal of the contest. And now they enjoy a 5-on-3 advantage with a 6-goal lead. Devin Pfeiffer scores. The salt poured into the wounds, if you will. Pfeiffer's 2nd goal of the game. It's his 3rd point of the night. So far on the year, he's now got 74 points and 50 assists to lead his team in those respective categories. So, man, oh, man, if you're a RiverWolves fan, you're shaking your head. Your team just went through 2 penalty shots where you got scored on once. You were 5-on-3 where you got scored on. And now you're still down 5-on-4 with a $1:36 left in the recent man advantage. Oh, yeah, and did I mention Coach Jamie Dubrick is not on the bench anymore? He's been kicked out of this game. So, man, oh, man, what does the next 24 minutes of lacrosse still have in store here from Children's Arena on your Saturday night? A 13-6 scoreboard for the Whitby Steelhawks, who average 17.1 goals per game. Cameron York to Orpana. Orpana denied by Cosgrove. Now Dawson Brown using his speed, sprinting down the right wing. Tried to give it back to Nick Ellerton. Pass got deflected back into the lap, though, of Caden Merritt. Merritt looks up at the clock. 1 minute left on the power play. 16 seconds left on the shot clock. Takes a couple hacks from Sinfield. Continues to hang on to the rock. Avoids Sinfield. He's chucked down to the floor. But not before Sinfield is going to get called for the penalty. So a fantastic individual effort, shorthanded from Caden Merritt, who, let's face it, he's been getting it done offensively for the RiverWolves as well with a hat trick so far in this game. But that time refused to give up on the play, refused to give up the rock, and as a result, the Whitby Steelhawks were almost forced that time to take a penalty on him. So 4-on-4 lacrosse. No, I apologize. We're getting 4-on-3 lacrosse. There were 2 penalties out of that last play. Excuse me? I gotta hear the officials on this one. As going down low is Brown. Big stop from Lucas Coote doing the splits in the crease. Now Ty Argent picks off the pass at mid-floor, avoids Morgan and goes into that corner for Merritt. Merritt fakes giving it back to Simonelli and does. High pass, settled down, back to Simonelli. Now to Argent, now to Merritt. Merritt shot and he scores! Caden Merritt, once again with his 4th goal of the game, another power play marker, his 5th point of the contest. And the Acton, Ontario native now has 25 goals in 2025. But man, oh man, I still feel like I'm lost in the ambrosia, if you will, of that last couple minutes where the RiverWolves were given 2 penalties, 2 penalty shots against them, and had their coach and Jamie Dubrick showed the exit door. And now you have a minute 08 remaining of a man advantage for the RiverWolves. 10 seconds left on this possession for the shorthanded Steelhawks. Woods, who scored his 4th goal of the game on a penalty shot. Over to Liam Aston. Down low to Piper. Long distance shot misses. And Paris will collect it with the man advantage for another 50 seconds. Ty Argent, who's already got 4 points in this game, including 3 assists. He came over from the Six Nations Snipers. The Hamilton, Ontario native looks to go over to his left side and does to Simonelli, who gives it right back to him. Ty Argent to Simonelli. Now they go back to the captain in Woodland. Try to get it back to Merritt. Woodland grabbed it back. Woodland tried to go low. Lucas Coote with the stop. Now trying to gobble up the ball was Brown to Simonelli. Simonelli, pitch and catch. Taking the shot this time is Ty Argent. Grabbing the rebound off of Lucas Coote, though, is Caden Merritt. Now Woodland crosses over to Brown. Brown back to Argent. Over to the far side to Woodland, who cuts in. Now to Simonelli. Simonelli with a seam. Shoots it wide. And now Crowley grabbed the rebound and he'll go up the floor. No, he lost the ball. We're back to even strength as Ty Argent gives it back to his captain in Woodland. That's Brown. Brown creeping in. Brown looking around at his options. Gives it back to the captain. Long shot. Rebounds there. And they score. Caden Merritt feeling alive. It's his 5th goal of the game. Caden Merritt with the last 2 goals for the RiverWolves. He's got 6 points and 5 goals. I mentioned the last time we were here at Children's Arena, it was actually Sinfield for the Steelhawks grabbing 5 goals and finding himself as one of the top 3 stars of the game. Well, now Caden Merritt, he must have known wearing the lime green shoes would benefit against the team that wears lime green trim in the jerseys. As into the corner, the Steelhawks look to well build upon their 5-goal lead, 13-8 here in the 3rd frame. Highland crosses the floor over to McGregor. McGregor being watched by Paniccioni. Scott couldn't handle the bouncing rock right away, but now does. Connor Scott being watched fiercely by Nate Woods. Scott looking for an exit plan, gets it up the floor, but actually eludes Nick Ellerton. And that'll allow Lucas Coote to calmly play it to Robert Morgan. Morgan crosses over mid-floor to the near side to Goodchild. Goodchild surveying the situation, pump fakes. Backtracks it now to Owen Boyle. Boyle to Axton. Back to Boyle. Boyle cuts in. Owen Boyle, no-looker, big save by Chase Cosgrove. He had to be sharp. And now literally from his stomach, keeping this play alive temporarily, was Robert Morgan. Eventually, Ellerton collects the loose change at mid-floor with 5:05 remaining here in the third. Both teams in the midst of changing. Caden Merritt with 5 goals already in this game, now to Dylan Gillespie. Gillespie is denied his second goal of the contest. 21 goals on the board here at Children's Arena, and Gillespie gets it back and scores! Talk about the wrong team at the wrong time. John Weller was trying to clear it out from the end wall. He put it, though, right into the lap of Gillespie. And Gillespie had the first goal of the game. He's got the 22nd goal of the game, as now it's a 13-9 score. The RiverWolves are back in action next Sunday, March 2nd, against the Six Nations Snipers. That'll take place at Iroquois Lacrosse Arena at 4 p.m. The Whitby Steelhawks are back here at Children's Arena next Saturday, March the 1st, against the Oshawa Outlaws. That game, by the way, takes place at 1 p.m. Faraday leaves it for Sinfield. Sinfield has Acton and finds him. Acton looking around, goes to the right side. Sinfield drops it for Orpana. Orpana guarded fiercely by Ty Argent. And now Acton, spinning off of a defender, hits the crossbar. That's Ty Argent collecting it off of his own post. Trying to now go into Steelhawks' their territory, trying to go behind the back, but missed well wide to the left side of Lucas Coote. 4 minutes remains here in this third period of play. Woodland couldn't handle the pass from Simonelli because he had a wide open back door to Lucas Coote's left side. Now Pfeiffer from Crowley. Pfeiffer denied by Cosgrove. Rebound pulled away this time from Cam Mancini. Woodland, the captain of the Paris RiverWolves, right into the chest of Coote. Coote doesn't know where it is, though. It's tucked into his jersey. I wonder if Lucas Coote calls Patrick Waugh for jersey alterations. The ball literally went into his shoulder and then lapped over the jersey, and the official prized it out. So with 3:38 remaining here in the third, it is a Gatorade break from Children's Arena between the 9-1 Steelhawks and the 6-4 Paris RiverWolves. Arena Lacrosse League action in the East Division, live from Children's Arena in Oshawa, Ontario. It's the Whitby Steelhawks taking on the Paris RiverWolves. The Steelhawks enjoying a 13-9 lead, and they cut in and they score! Oh me, oh my, McGregor flies his way through the Paris RiverWolves crease, and Braden McGregor has made it a 14-9 game. As I mentioned before, the Steelhawks have the best record in all of the ALL, not just in the East Division. As you look to the ALL West standings out in Langley, BC, the Shooting Eagles are currently with a 9-2 record. That's an .818 winning percentage. Not as good as the .900 winning percentage that the Coach Daggerton-led Steelhawks have coming into tonight's game. Woods grabs the ball, and in front of their own bench, it's Pfeiffer trying to elongate the pass to Ferrerde. He grabs it off of the corner, spins into open real estate, tries to go low. Cosgrove still remains sharp. What's interesting to note, too, for a guy like Chase Cosgrove, who just got beaten, Devin Pfeiffer, lethal from all aspects of the floor. The Oshawa, Ontario native, as I mentioned, led the team in goals, assists, points, power play goals, and game-winning goals, averaging 7.1 points per game coming into the contest. What's funny is I was literally just mentioning Chase Cosgrove's backup tonight is not his usual Calum Lever-Prea. It's Connor Waller. But when I look down to the bench, Waller doesn't have his shoulder pads on. He doesn't even have a jersey on. He's just sitting at the end of the bench with his stick against the wall. So it's safe to say this is all going to be Chase Cosgrove one way or the other. Cosgrove made 45 saves in that 20-12 loss to the Steelhawks back on December 15th. Lucas Coote made 36 saves in that victory and had 3 assists. He's got at least 1 assist so far in this game. 2.5 minutes remains in the third. Crowley into that far corner, grabs it first for the Steelhawks and waits for some support off of the bench. Adam Perrone faked the shot and gives it back to Liam Aston. Now, even fresher legs and Owen Boyle. A little give and go between him and Sinfield. Aston, high slot scores! Liam Aston and the Steelhawks continue to rumble. It's a hat trick for number 23, 4 points and counting on your Saturday night. It truly is turning into a stat pack kind of night for the Whitby Steelhawks. Again, a team that averaged 17.1 goals per game coming into this contest with a plus 46 goals differential. They've put up 24 goals twice so far this season. And man, oh man, there's still 17 minutes of regulation time left in this game. They're 8 goals away from hitting that mark yet again. So Devin Pfeiffer, no shock at all, a hat trick and 6 points. Nate Woods with 5 points and 4 goals. And then you got Aston with 5 points and 3 goals, or Pana behind him with 2 goals and 4 points. They continue to mount more offense towards the goalie and Chase Cosgrove. Pfeiffer out of that far corner, takes some slashes from Allerton, as getting thrown down to the floor behind the play was Brown. It'll give Paris the ball back. And in fact, it's not a warning. They're actually calling the penalty here against the Whitby Steelhawks. Eddie Ferrerde is going to go off for 2 or less. So down by 7 with 91 seconds left here in the third. It is the RiverWolves looking to get out of a slumber, if you will, here in the third. Ty Argent, 6 points so far in this game, including 4 assists. Caden Merritt, I apologize, 4 goals and 5 points. This one is over and back, though. It'll give the Steelhawks the rock with a 1:15 left in the third. And for the Steelhawks, again, you got to be careful because plenty of these guys know how to score shorthanded as well, including Nate Woods, who has 5 shorthanded goals this season. Cameron York to Orpana. 19 seconds left on the shot clock for Orpana with 1 minute left here in the third frame. Orpana trying to slip his way between Pulicini. Orpana shot through traffic, stopped by Cosgrove, and Orpana's going to get his own rebound. Orpana stapled against the corner by 2 RiverWolves, and eventually the RiverWolves marauder the ball away. Brown through the mid-floor. 38 seconds left on the clock from Children's Arena in the third frame. On the power play, the RiverWolves looking to capitalize. 56 seconds left on the power play. A bouncing shot and they score! Ty Argent's shot had eyeballs and it beats Lucas Coote. Argent's coming off of a game where he had 7 points, including 5 assists, and he continues to show that he's the hot hand after coming over here from the Six Nations Snipers team. That's a hat trick. It's 7 points and counting for the Hamilton, Ontario native in Ty Argent. So Ty Argent, 7 points so far in this game, as I mentioned, for the Hamilton, Ontario native. He's now got 41 points in this season. He's got 12 goals and counting. A delayed penalty here, so Coote goes off to the bench. As it looks like we got 6-on-5 on the floor. Devin Pfeiffer spinning off a defender. I think hit Nick Ellerton in the helmet and actually ricochets into the mesh. But it is a 16-10 lead for the Whitby Steelhawks, looking to improve to 10-1 in the regular season versus the 6-4 Paris RiverWolves. The last 15 minutes of Arena Lacrosse League action on your Saturday night is on the other side. Welcome back to Children's Arena here on your Saturday evening. The first time these two teams hooked it up, it was a season opener for Whitby, and it was a season and home opener for Paris. That was a 20-12 final in favor of the Steelhawks. It's currently 16-10 after the first 3 periods of action. The Durham region exists on the lands of the Mississauga and Anishinaabe, which have inhabited these lands for thousands of years, as it is Ty Arshin trying his best one-handed to get it towards Lucas Coote. These lands are the traditional and treaty territories of the nations covered under the Williams Treaty. As John Weller scores during my land acknowledgement past Chase Cosgrove, 22 seconds into the 4th frame, and Whitby continues to pour salt on the wounds. It's John Weller getting his first goal of the contest. So yeah, maybe I should take that one from the top. The region of Durham exists on the lands of the Mississauga and Anishinaabe, which have inhabited thousands of years prior to European colonization. These lands are the traditional and treaty territories of the nations covered under the Williams Treaties, including the Mississauga of the Scugog Island First Nations, Alderville First Nations, Hiawatha First Nations, Curve Lake First Nations, as Lucas Coote makes an excellent save here. It also includes the Chippewa of the Nations, Georgina Island, Bosolo, and Rama. We honor, recognize, and respect Indigenous people as the rightful holders and stewards of the lands and waters which we have the privilege to live on. So John Weller, 22 seconds into the frame, already makes it a 17-10 game in favor of the Whitby Steelhawks. Woodland, the captain, trying to bar the door, trying to get a pick at least from Nakamura. Now Caden Merritt, that's the hot hand, if you will, came into this game with 21 goals. He's got so far 5 in this game. Or I beg your pardon, that's 5 points, 4 goals. Lucas Coote, he's already got 1 assist in this game, looking to add to another. Crowley to his teammate, who gets absolutely chucked down to the floor. We'll get a penalty here to Owen Dale. He was late to the party and got into the grill of Dallas Clancy and sent him tumbling here on the blue carpet. Owen Dale's complaining to the official. He had the ball. Yeah, well, you still can't do that, son. So, you know, some spectators would expect this team to kind of light off the gas, but for a team that's put up 24 goals twice this year, as well as averaging 17 goals per game, they have 17 on the board right now. I would expect them to just put the pedal to the metal. Orpana from Pfeiffer. Orpana stopped by Cosgrove. Rebound spills out. Minichello tries to calm it down and does. Now he heads north. Minichello, 3-on-3. Minichello with the shot. Lucas Coote with the save. Orpana grabs the rebound and pulls it away for the home team in white. Quickly up the floor to Aston. Aston with a teammate running towards the net, decides to hold on to it instead for Devin Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer, back to the teammate in Orpana. No looker to Aston. Aston trying to go low on Cosgrove. Rebounds behind his net. Ellerton didn't have it. Does Cosgrove sift it out? He does. The goalie from Woodsley, Ontario, looks to go up the floor with it. He's going to have to launch this, eventually does. His pass, though, is intercepted by Highland. 1:04 remains on the power play for Whitby, up by 7 here with 12:40 remaining in the game. Devin Pfeiffer, who came into this contest with 10 power play goals, gives and chases with Orpana. Goes to that far side. Orpana at the top of the world, looking to shoot this one low, hit off of traffic, and goes into the lap of Chase Cosgrove. Cosgrove, trying to go all the way up the floor, had his first pass intercepted by Highland, has this pass intercepted by Orpana. Orpana back the other way, shoots this just wide on the left side of Cosgrove. Off the end wall, it's Brown. One-on-one back the other way short-handed. Has a man off the bench, tries to find him. The rock Simonelli is denied by Lucas Coote. 20 seconds left on the power play. Back and forth, here we go. It's Woods Man, oh man, he had the hot hand in the opening first half of play. The Ottawa, Ontario native so far in this game has just been dominating the RiverWolves with 4 goals and 5 points, including his latest on a penalty shot. Aston looking to shoot this. No, a great backdoor pass is denied. Cameron York on the left side of Chase Cosgrove. Now Aston into the slot. Pfeiffer is denied a delayed penalty here. As actually Cooch just staying in his net. I don't know if this is sportsmanship trying to be shown right now as Pfeiffer makes the save. He grabs his own rebound and then it's still loose in the paint. It stayed out. Aston and York are saying it went in. The officials are saying it went out. Now what's interesting, they had their hand up, folks, for I think a good 30 seconds there. I kept shooting my, chin back down to Lucas Coote. He stayed in the net the entire time. So up by 7. For some reason decided not to go off for the extra attacker, and it will be Scott going off to the sin bin for 2 or less. Connor Scott for the visiting Paris RiverWolves. So again, a power play that's already scored a power play marker in this game and came in operating at 83%, goes against a penalty kill that's only operating at 34% right now for the RiverWolves. And not to keep cracking bad eggs or anything, I still see Coach Jamie Dubrick, by the way, in that far corner after being, ejected, if you will, from this game. As a second RiverWolf joins Scott in the box as we get a double minor and a minor put on the board for the RiverWolves. So 5-on-3 for a full 2 minutes, and then even with that being said, there's a double minor into that equation. Tic-tac-toeing around are the Steelhawks. Cosgrove. I mean, it'd be so easy to give up at this point, but Cosgrove refused to. Cody Hamley, that was Sinfield on the far side being denied. Sinfield to Orpana. Orpana to Pfeiffer, who scores. Devin Pfeiffer continues to march up the league-leading point getters. 4 goals, 7 points in this game. He's now got 78 points and counting here in the ALL in 2025. So the first minor penalty comes off the board, but we still have 3:45 left on the double minor with 11 minutes remaining in this game. 8-goal lead for the Steelhawks. Not a shocker when you consider they average 17.1 goals per game. They got 18 so far and counting here on your Saturday night. Ellerton crawling up the near wall. Ellerton trying to cut around Crowley and does. Feeds a feathering pass to his teammate Ty Argent, the Hamilton, Ontario native. 8 seconds left on the shot clock. Argent 1-on-3 right now. He's going to have to just float this towards the net, and time expires. That beat Lucas Coote, but it won't count as he, kind of like Steph Curry taking the three-pointer after the buzzer goes. It don't count. I was just going to say, again, for a guy like Ty Argent, you thought maybe he pulls that trigger a bit quicker. He probably would have had his hat trick. He's got 2 goals and 4 assists so far in this game. Devin Pfeiffer to Sinfield, back to Orpana. Orpana into the corner to Aston. Aston back to Orpana in the high slot, into the chest of Chase Cosgrove. And now getting it out of the cookie jar, if you will, and out of harm's way is Steven Policcioni. Policcioni goes in, and I thought he had that far side labeled. He just missed it, though, and the Steelhawks take back over with 9:50 remaining in the fourth quarter clock. Devin Pfeiffer lethargically walks this one into the Paris zone. I believe that's Aston on the far side. Goodchild back to Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer crosses this one now to Boyle. Boyle looks at Goodchild, decides to go low with a bouncing shot, is stopped by the goalie. Rebounds collected, though, by the Steelhawks. That was Goodchild looking around. Goodchild in front of the net, bounces this one onto the goalie. Minichello has the rebound, and he'll flip this one up to Nick Ellerton. Ellerton goes down, and he's stopped by Lucas Coote. You can hear the applause coming off of the Whitby bench for their goaltender in Lucas Coote, who's looking to improve to 7-0-0 on the regular season. He came into this game with 364 minutes between the pipes and 266 saves. Caden Merritt bullied off the ball by Robert Morgan. Morgan will just settle it in the corner, look up at the shot clock as the buzzer goes. His team's going to take over here with 8:50 left on the hourglass and 90 seconds left on the double minor penalty. Remember, this all started with a minor and a double minor handed out to Paris. Whitby did score 5 on 3 with Devin Pfeiffer, and they have failed to score so far here on the double minor that's been left on the scoreboard. Cameron York receives this from Sinfield to Orpana, back to Sinfield. Trying to backdoor his teammate McGregor, who's already scored a nice goal in this game. He's blocked off by Ellerton, though, and now a chance for Brown to get it into the Whitby zone. 55 seconds left on the advantage, trying to go low on Lucas Coote. Gillespie, he's already got 2 goals in this game, was looking for number 3. Now some bad English on the ball will benefit the Paris RiverWolves, and the officials are going to give the RiverWolves the ball back. Brown floats this one over to a teammate in Gillespie. Gillespie gives this back, and now it's Ellerton to the near side to Caden Merritt. Merritt, with 18 seconds left on the shot clock, looks back at the clock and his options with 28 seconds left on the Whitby power play. Merritt, who's been the top offensive weapon in the game for Paris, was trying to go short side here, denied by Lucas Coote. By the way, everybody knows Leafs president Brandon Shanahan, but not a lot of people know about his brother Brian Shanahan. He's a 5-time Mann Cup lacrosse champion. And in fact, Brian Shanahan's one of the only lacrosse players in history to play for a winless team. That was the 1984 Mississauga Renegades. And an undefeated team. That was the 1992 Brampton Excelsiors. He actually first started playing lacrosse at the age of 12 at Mimico Arena when it was still an outdoor box, if you could believe it or not. Now with 6 seconds left on the power play, we're about the midway mark of the 4th frame, so we're getting an official's time out. We'll be back for Children's Arena Lacrosse League action after this. 7:22 remains here in the hourglass from Children's Arena on your Saturday evening. Thanks for joining us. Donal Beatty giving you all the incredible camera angles, and yours truly, Jonathan Urbanowicz, happy to take you through this action. Simonelli was sandwiched by 2 Whitby Steelhawks, and with the open Paris door, it goes into their bench, giving the Steelhawks the biscuit back. Adam Perroni up the floor to a teammate in Sinfield. Sinfield back to Perroni. Perroni cocks it back, was trying to go on the 5-hole, and to believe it or not, I think that did beat Cosgrove 5-hole, but it got a piece of his right interior leg and then ricocheted wide of the right goalpost. Cosgrove with another save. The rebound eludes Owen Boyle, but it is picked up by McGregor. Braden McGregor to Sinfield. Landon Sinfield trying to get it down low, and they score. Adam Perroni just rolls it along the blue carpet. It's a 19-10 lead for the Steelhawks here with 6:39 remaining in the game. Perroni wearing number 44 today. Usually wears number, well, I'm trying to make out the number here. I think 56 as I cross it off my list. Regardless of what number he's wearing, he's got 2 goals on the campaign here tonight. As we'll see if the Steelhawks, I know Donal Beatty, he wants them to get to 24 goals. You know, he's seen this team twice while he's been the cameraman score 24 goals. And do they get another one here? Cosgrove says no, the rebound. Oh, my word. Cosgrove, it's so nice he does it twice. That second save was a thing of beauty and had everybody on their feet here at Children's Arena. And man, oh man, you think you give up 19 goals, you're down by 9. It'd be so easy to give up. And, you know, you look at these guys' body language, there's none of that right now from the RiverWolves. They're still trying their best to claw back into this game. The Hamilton, Ontario native, and Ty Argent didn't like his original entry point. Now crosses over the floor to a teammate, Gillespie, who tries to go down low. Right in the 5-hole of Lucas Coote, shuts down the bridge. Coot gives it to Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer avoids Argent and crosses over the mid-floor. John Weller's going to go head off for a change. Pfeiffer looks to do the same thing, but as he backtracks, he's eventually going to give it to a teammate in Tyler Goodchild. And actually, Pfeiffer is going to stay out on the floor temporarily. As I say that, now he's going to go off for a change. So it's interesting to see. I mentioned it's kind of a stat pack style night right now for the Whitby Steelhawks. We'll see how much of Devin Pfeiffer we see, as again, he's amongst the top 3 in point getters in this league. Sinfield to Orpana. Orpana through traffic, and Chase Cosgrove just got enough of it as the loose change rolls into the near corner. Liam Aston commandeers the ball, feeds Orpana, who scores. Owen Orpana makes it 20-10. It's a hat trick for Orpana and his 5th point of the night. So for the RiverWolves, Caden Merritt with 4 goals, Ty Argent with 3. For the Steelhawks, Pfeiffer with 4 goals, Aston with 3 goals, Woods with 4 goals, Orpana with 3, and Adam Peroni with 2. Oh yeah, and then you guys have Sinfield, McGregor, Weller, and Boyle. All guys I have 1. Just 1. A 20-10 game on your Saturday night. As trying to go through the crease, and he scores! Owen Boyle, again, he must have just tiptoed before that line in the crease, because as he was diving through, I don't know if that would have counted in the NLL, but regardless, it's blackjack on the board for the Steelhawks yet again in a 21-10 game. 31 goals between these two teams. Not a shocker. When you think last week there was 36 goals between the Steelhawks and the Bears in that 24-12 game. But man, oh man, when do you just let off the gas pedal a little bit? I mean, I'm not trying to point fingers or anything, but after you lap your opponent a couple times on the racetrack, there's really no need to burn so much gas. But then again, like, you know, for guys like Devin Pfeiffer, a chance to, you know, potentially find yourself at the top of the ALL points leader standings, if you will. As Highland down low to Woods. Woods was trying to find another goal. In fact, he still hunts the ball down here with 4:10 remaining. Cosgrove's looking around. The officials give Paris the ball back. Woods with 4 goals and 1 assist. Looking for number 5 here. He'll be denied by Cosgrove. The rebound pops loose. And it's Stephen Pelliccioni getting it into the Whitby zone temporarily, though. Lost the handle on the rock. And Highland will settle it down. Highland to John Weller. Weller with 1 goal and 2 assists as a defenseman here in this game. And fresh off of the bench, he's going to feed it to a teammate in Cameron York. York so far in this game, no points in the contest, as Crowley and Owen Dale sort of slash at each other, and the official gets between them. Owen Dale's already gone off to the penalty box twice tonight, and I think the doors are opening for a 3rd time. And yes, he's heading in there for another penalty box visit. So for the Paris RiverWolves, I guess discipline would be the number 1 thing on your list. As it looks like somebody else is being kicked out of this game, they are. An assistant coach this time. The cowboy, if you will, for the RiverWolves has been well escorted back to the barn. Jamie Dubrick, who was escorted out of this game earlier in this game. I was just interrupted by him getting kicked out of the game. The word I was about to use was discipline. A handful of penalties, including a 5-on-3 here. The RiverWolves have been down 5-on-3 a cornucopia of times here on your Saturday night. And tic-toe passing, oh my word, get me out of here if I'm Chase Cosgrove. By the time he looks left, it's gone right. By the time it's gone right, he's looked left. He's got him running around like a bobblehead in that goal crease right now, and the 5-on-3 goal works. Oh, have mercy. 3:20 remains here in the fourth. It's a 12-goal lead for the Steelhawks, and oh yeah, they remain on the power play for the next $1.48. Ellerton off of the face-off loss. It'll go into the lap of the assistant captain and Cody Hamley. So man, oh man, 22 goals put on the board here tonight by the Steelhawks. They put up 24 goals twice in this season. And here they are on a power play, a chance still to get to that mark. The low shot hits off the traffic and Ellerton. Caden Merritt lost it. Now a diving over the crease. I don't know if that would have counted, but it sure as heck looked cool. Cody Hamley was trying to jump over the back of the net and tuck it off of the back, if you will, of Cosgrove. Lucas Coote spins it away from Caden Merritt. Leaves it for his teammate Eddie Verde. 2:30 remains in the hourglass. Only 55 seconds left on the power play of 5-on-4. That's after the Whitby Steelhawks already scored on a 5-on-3 advantage. Peroni to the high slot to DeBrone. DeBrone, long shot, stopped by Cosgrove, and he backtracks his way to make sure that ball didn't go behind him. It's been 5 straight goals by the Steelhawks, with Owen Boyle getting that last marker. They've scored 8 of the last 9 goals in this game with 2 minutes remaining here in the fourth. Minicello taking a stroll with it into that far corner, watched by 2 Steelhawks. His team shorthanded. Minicello, nice move, tried to go low on Lucas Coote, and the goalie denies him. And now we're getting some verbiage, if you will, from the Paris bench. They've already had 2 guys kicked off of their bench. I lost count of how many penalties. I know there was 2 penalty shots that happened at the same time, which is a very rare feat in the sport of lacrosse. Ellerton receives about 80 slashes on his way into the Steelhawks zone, and he draws a penalty on the play. So the whistle does go with 1:17 left here in the fourth frame. And it looks like the sin bin doors will open and Morgan's going to go through. Not too sure why up by 12 they were giving Nick Ellerton such a hard time, because man, oh man, he didn't take 5. He didn't take 10. He took about 15 hacks on his way up the left wing. But Ellerton does draw the penalty out of it. In fact, there's 2 Steelhawks going off. Did they get both slashing him at the same time? That's funny. So 5-on-3 for the RiverWolves, down by 12. Can you get a 13-goal goal in this sport? They're going to need it right about now. As Argent is denied at point-blank range. The crowd applauds Lucas Coote's performance. He's looking to improve to 7-0 in the regular season. Crowley steals the ball away. Crowley thrown down to the floor. Woodland gets it back. The pass a little too hot to handle for Merritt. And now it's Coote, of all people, springing out of his cage to throw this one like a laser beam. 2-on-0, and they score! What in the world is going on? Paris with a 5-on-3 advantage, and yet it was a 2-on-0 short-handed for Whitby. And despite the fact that they only had 3 players on the floor, 5 of their opponents, they had a 2-on-0 break on Cosgrove, and they score. So man, oh man, 23-10. I don't think that they're going to get to 24. Sorry to disappoint you, Donald. But again, a team that scored 24 goals twice this season currently has 23 on the board. And we'll see if everything remains cool as a cucumber for the last 24 seconds of this game, as another penalty is about to be called as I say that. Dallas Clancy backtracks it, but do you know what? There's more shot clock than game clock, so Whitby should literally walk out the clock here on your Saturday evening. as the officials aren't even going to recognize that Paris touches the ball. Whitby wins. Whitby wins. They put up 23 goals on your Saturday night, and despite the fact that they started this game down 2-0, end up prevailing by 13 in a score of 23-10. The Paris RiverWolves dropped to 6-5 on the regular season. They'll look to right their wrongs next Sunday when they take on the Six Nations Snipers at the Iroquois Lacrosse Arena. That's at 4 p.m. The Steelhawks improved to 10-1 in the regular season. Their next match will be here at Children's Arena when they take on the Oshawa Outlaws on Saturday here at 1 p.m. Lucas Coote, the goaltender who grabbed the victory, improves to 7-0 in the regular season with over 420 minutes between the pipes. And man, oh man, Devin Pfeiffer, who already came into this game leading his team in goals, assists, and points, has a magnificent campaign yet again to lead his team to victory. You got to feel it bad for guys, though, like Caden Merritt and Ty Argent. Both of those guys had one heck of a game for the Paris RiverWolves. Ty Argent finishes with 7 points, including 3 goals and 4 assists. Caden Merritt with 4 goals and 5 points. Their captain had 5 points as well in Woodland with his 1 goal and 2 assists. But for the Steelhawks, Devin Pfeiffer, 8 points, including 4 goals. Aston with 7 points, including 3 goals. Orpana with 6 points, including 3 goals. And Nate Wood scoring 4 goals, including 1 on the penalty shot. It's a 23-10 final from Children's Arena on your Saturday evening. For Donal Beatty, I'm Jonathan Urbanowicz. You've been watching Arena Lacrosse League action in the East Division here on YouTube. Have a safe and enjoyable night.